So apparently, the Fever just leaked their starting five. According to this graphic right
Following a starting lineup, the Indiana Fever may have just upended the WNBA. A leak that is igniting social media. Caitlin Clark-Mitchell, Kelsey Dana-Bonder, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard. It's a super team in the making, with 2 Rookie of the Year winners and 3 players on max contracts starting together. However, the bigger shock may be Sophie Cunningham's response to her new bench role, which could indicate that this team has finally figured out the formula for championship chemistry. That's the rumored starting 5.
Cunningham, the first player off the bench to provide lineup versatility and shooting. Either way, there are a lot of...
That's only the beginning of the conversation. We're going to break down not just the starting 5, but all the different lineup combinations the Fever could use and why every other team should be concerned. So, what does this dominant lineup actually mean for the rest of the league? And how will they maintain cohesiveness with so much elite talent sharing the court? There are more than 5 good alternatives on this team. Depending on who they play, 9 players might start. And Sophie Cunningham is welcoming the change with a spirit that might be the key to this roster's success.
Yeah, this is apparently what it's going to be. Caitlin Clark at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, DeWanna Bonner at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aaliyah Boston at the 5.
Let's begin where all good stories begin. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, is already changing the rules of basketball. Her vision is incredible, and her range is nearly limitless. Opponents are picking up on this quickly, so if Clark is in the building, you had better protect her as soon as she sets foot on the hardwood.
In order for the Fever to achieve the goals that they have in front of them, everyone is going to need to buy into their role, and it's up to Stephanie White to put the best lineups out there, the best lineup combinations, and all of that. I took a stab at projecting what the starting 5 will be, and it's, not a huge leap, but obviously Caitlin Clark's going to be the...
Right
Kelsey
next to
Mitchell,
her is
who
Kelsey
averaged
Mitchell,
almost
a
20
scoring
points per
machine in
game
her
the
own
previous
right.
season, and is one of the
Averaging
league's
nearly
most
20 points per
unguardable
game
guards,
last season.
is right next
She's
to her.
one of the most
She can
unguardable
manufacture
guards in the
her
league,
own shot from
able
any
to create
place,
her own
even
shot
when
from
defenders
anywhere.
are riveted
Even
to
with
her.
defenders.
Kelsey Mitchell, the shooting guard, the most potent backcourt in the WNBA. I think DeWanna Bonner will be the Swiss Army knife kind of player at the...
Next up is Dana Bonner, who is 6 feet 4 inches and has a ton of playoff experience. She is a mismatch nightmare who can guard several spots and spread the floor. In addition to Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, the 2023 Rookie of the Year, is a relentless defender who excels at pick-and-roll play, fast breaks, and anchoring the paint. Her superior footwork, raw strength, and high basketball IQ make her a formidable force beneath the rim.
Natasha Howard fills that hole that they had at power forward, especially they were lacking somebody who could run the floor, catch, and finish. Aaliyah Boston is the center who doesn't hunt for shots but can be a key cog on both.
This unit will give instructors headaches because every component fits the spacing they make, making it resemble a flawlessly timed symphony. Concentrate on defending Clark Mitchell, as he will scorch you if you attempt to collapse on Boston inside Clark. Bonner, both Mitchell and Howard are capable of making perimeter shots. Experience, defense, and scoring spacing all have an unrivaled balance.
It's already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much.
And keep in mind the possibility between Boston and Clark. Even head coach Stephanie White has stated that these two are creating a legacy that could be among the greatest in WNBA history. Boston's screens and well-timed cuts, combined with Clark's accurate passes, make for a highlight machine in the making. Their chemistry is still in its early stages and already appears to be magic.
You think about the great point guards and post players that our game, not just our league, but our game has seen, they are going to go down in history as the greatest. And I'm excited about the opportunity to work with them. I'm excited about the opportunity that we have to build from those starting points and build out, and for the longevity that those two could have in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and hanging banners in this.
Together, the predicted starting 5 scored more than 80 points per game the previous season. And now that Clark is in charge, expect even greater efficiency. Teams like the Liberty Aces should take note, as Vegas may be exposed in the paint with a smaller lineup, and New York's defensive system may be completely destroyed attempting to switch between all these weapons. This isn't a rebuild anymore. Indiana is coming for victories now.
Oh, I saw Sophie Cunningham talk about how she is thrilled to join a supporting role next to Caitlin Clark and that she's playing on a stacked Fever.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Don't sleep on the bench, especially Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. Cunningham's reaction to not making the starting lineup is very professional. There is no drama or pouting, just support and determination. She is eager to play alongside Caitlin Clark and the team wherever she starts the game.
I am really excited, and I didn't come here for the spotlight. I didn't come here to have more eyes. I came here to win. And I really do think that with the group that we have, that we are going to win. We are going to get a championship.
This kind of seasoned wisdom is uncommon. Many well-known players have refused to play a smaller part. For example, Allen Iverson refused to leave the bench and left the game. Carmelo. Sophie is all in, and that kind of attitude might be exactly what makes this club a legitimate contender. Anthony had similar problems in Houston.
Just kind of heard what they were doing, and of course you have Caitlin, who's drawn eyes from all around the world. That was like, why would I not? Why not be a part of something great? You go from Diana, and now you're going to a team who is going to be a contender for a championship. And so I'm stoked about this year. I'm really excited for the players, but I'm also excited just for the community and the relationship and the culture that you guys have.
Cunningham's selflessness is indicative of a shifting culture in Indiana that is focused on group success rather than individual stats. And that is precisely the kind of drive Stephanie White needs to turn this loaded roster into a championship-caliber team. Championship squads aren't just made up of stars. They're made up of players who understand and embrace their role.
Sophie Cunningham, who I mentioned before, who I do think will be the first player off the bench because of all of the things she can bring to the team, where they can go small with her and spread the floor. I mean, you can go real small. You could play Howard at center and Cunningham at the 4, something like that. Really space the floor out and give teams a different look. She can play a traditional spot on the wing, of course. And she has a little bit more, I think they're listed at the same height, but she has a little bit more length and size, I believe, than Lexi Hull. And that's, another shooter out on the.
Cunningham is the perfect sixth woman because of her skill set. She can defend guards and forwards, shoot from deep, and provide the kind of energy that changes momentum. She could easily start for other teams, but instead she is committed to improving this team in any way she can. That mentality is the cornerstone of greatness.
Be a phenomenal group. I'm excited for all the other pieces that came in this offseason with me. And so when I really see what I can do here, I'm confident in that, but I really am just excited for the big picture of what everyone brings to this.
If you need someone to shut down an opposing team's top scorer, Lexi Hall is the go-to choice. If spacing is a concern, she's your answer there as well. She's the epitome of a relentless defender, applying pressure from baseline to baseline and never letting up.
And then there's Lexi Hull, who was relied upon a little bit too much a season ago. Lexi's a little undersized to guard some of the players that she had to guard and would get in foul trouble. And when she got in foul trouble, it was really debilitating for the team. Now I think she can bring that energy all the time and not have to worry about the foul trouble because of the lineup versatility that they have. For Lexi, the key is, can she continue to hit at the clip from 3 that she did the second half of last season? And she's got to get better at finishing around the cup. I mean, that's an area of.
Paul is a quiet but successful player who led the WNBA in three-point shooting percentage the previous season. She may not be showy, but her impact is vital whether she's flying after a loose ball or sinking a crucial corner 3.
We've seen a lot of Brianna Turner working out with the team. I think her ability to set screens, hopefully catch and finish, could give her some minutes because Aaliyah Boston really the only kind of what you would consider a center on the squad at this.
Beside her is Brianna Turner, the Fever's interior defense's undiscovered treasure. Her actions don't appear on stat sheets, but she's not the kind to light up the scoreboard. Turner generates wide-open lanes for players like Caitlin Clark to maneuver, with defenders pursuing shooters out to the arc, sets bone-rattling screens, and finishes hard through traffic. Turner is the one who continuously converts in, taking advantage of the gap they leave behind. Together, the paint where it matters most when the players need a break. Hull and Turner's tough defensive combination keeps the pressure on. The type of role players that championship teams are built on, willing to put in the effort, always locked in, and determined to maintain momentum even when the stars are resting. Are Hull's relentless hustle, which helps maintain a high pace, and Turner, who protects the rim and smashes the boards like her life depends on it.
Wilson maybe plays a little bit more than we figured because Clark will get spelled a bit more often this season, I would imagine. I also could see some Clark Colson two-guard lineups out there at times to let Clark play off the ball a little bit more, to let Colson apply defensive pressure.
Also keep in mind Sydney Cousins' soothing presence as Caitlin Clark prepares for the grind of her sophomore campaign. It's impossible to overestimate the poise and consistency Coulson gives. As the floor general, she knows how to lead an offense, control the game clock, and keep everyone in sync. Her presence allows Clark to rest without the team missing a beat. The real edge for the Fever is their bench, who not only maintain intensity, but also mimic the starting lineup in style and execution when the reserves check in. It's like facing a second wave that's just as dangerous as the first. This kind of unrelenting consistency is uncommon in the WNBA and frequently turns nail-biters into blowouts down the stretch.
See Clark in motion more this year to free her up for cleaner looks. You know, Clark's three-point percentage was not probably where it needed to be. I think one way to get that up is to get her cleaner looks off the ball at times, though she should still have the ball the lion's share of the time. What they really did do is add those rim runners.
Speaking of strategy, let's discuss the overall plan for Caitlin Clark's role this season. The Fever are going full Steph Curry mode, which keeps her moving constantly to reorganize defenses from the inside out. Don't think of Clark standing motionless at the top of the key, barking out orders.
I also want our players to use their instincts and to play free. You know, we want to make plays, not run plays, right? We want to have sets that give us certain spacing that we want, depending upon our rotations, who's on the floor, who we want to attack, what matchups we want to get to, how can we manipulate them. So we'll have certain play calls that just give us space to operate, and then whichever play we make, whichever pass we make determines, you know, one of three actions that our players can read from. And so really giving them the freedom to play within a system.
This is the vision. With that dangerous shooting range, Clark dishes the ball and takes off right away, cutting the back door, running through several off-ball screens, and appearing in unexpected places. As a result, defenders chase Ghost while Clark sets up for another 30-footer. It's a workout just trying to stay close to her.
Of course, you know, when you have more weapons, a lot of people are worried. I don't think they have players who need the ball to score, but they have more players who can score, which is going to make it tougher to load up. It was already tougher to load up on Kelsey Mitchell last year because Caitlin Clark was there. And when Kelsey's able to get out in transition, she's so fast. And when she's able to take you one-on-one, there ain't much you can do. And then Clark, the same thing. What are you going to do now? You're going to have to pick your poison because you're going to send the whole defense at her again. Well, she's going to pick you apart. You know, they have 5 players who are in the top 30 in scoring.
It's deadly in addition to being intelligent. Most WNBA defenses aren't made to deal with a moving shooter like this. And rim attackers like Deanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, who expertly time their cuts, compel defenders to make tough decisions. You get burned inside if you concentrate on Clark. If you assist the cutters, Clark is left exposed.
What the Fever really needed last year, they got killed on the boards at times. They got killed defensively at times. They lacked a little bit of toughness and oomph. And I think, you know, collectively, the new players fill that mold. I mean, they got players that have been around the block. You know, Sophie is tough and tenacious. You know that Dewanna Bonner has been in every situation imaginable, right? So all of that is huge. Same with Howard. You know, that experience, that's something Sydney Colson talked about, who also has the experience. Everybody that's coming in is having the experience, and it's not often you see such a drastic
Better still when Clark is moving Howard and Bonner are cutting at the ideal time if defenses who attempt to switch or hedge are quickly penalized. And keep in mind that Hull and Cunningham, 2 of the best of the 3, are prepared to punish any defensive rotation that becomes tardy or sloppy.
I basically said there were 4 reliable players in Clark, Mitchell, Boston, and Hull. everybody around that has been reconfigured, and the coach. And, the coach has familiarity with Bonner. She also has familiarity with how to guard Caitlin.
This offensive strategy isn't just effective. It's complete chaos for the defense. 5 scoring threats are always switching, cutting, and reading the defense in real time. These pick and rolls now feature 3 layers, and handoffs can result in backdoor losses. The floor is so wide that it feels like a warp chess game. Every element of this offense is designed to confuse, stretch, and exploit.
As much as the starting 5 is pretty much dead set right now, I could potentially see one of Sophie Cunningham or Lexi Hull maybe breaking into that starting lineup. I could see that happening at different stages.
However, as all of this excitement develops, one behind-the-scenes action could reveal more than anything else. Even more shocking was her start during the Fever's playoff run last year, when she was a key member of their defensive presence and rim running game. Observers noticed her presence at off-season workouts and team photos, which are typically a good indication of players in the team's long-term plans.
Do we not remember with Temi? Do we not remember they had a picture of Stephanie White with 6 players? And they were allowed to protect 6 players, and it was Temi as one of the 6? Do we not remember that? Turns out they protected Dantas instead of...
However, Tam wasn't on Indiana's protected list when they submitted their expansion draft. They had 6 slots, so there was plenty of space, but they decided to shield Dyrus Dantas instead, which caused some people to take notice. Not to disparage Dantas, who is a great player, but Bentley seems like an ideal fit next to Caitlin Clark since she runs the floor, protects the interior paint finishes, and flawlessly fits in with the Fever's transition game. Don't be shocked if this move heralds another shakeup later in the season. Indiana's front management is playing a long game, and the choice to emphasize Dantas may be about flexibility, unlocking different play styles, providing trade options, or mixing up the skill sets on the second unit.
I believe people give way too much credit to social media managers and accounts for the, behind the scenes knowledge that they might have about a team. So I wouldn't take that to the bank, because those were the players that were on the graphic. They could have just been randomly.
And don't assume, despite being viewed as a bench piece right now, Sophie Cunningham's toughness, adaptability, and playoff caliber grit might easily propel her into the starting 5, depending on the matchup with Stephanie White, who can switch lineups like a deck of cards. Few other teams are able to match Indiana's advantage.
I genuinely think Coulson, Hull, Cunningham, Dantas, Bree Turner would actually win versus last year's starting 5. Because obviously Kelsey Mitchell was injured, Erica Wheeler's Erica Wheeler, Caitlin Clark just wasn't ready, and she was playing shooting guard a lot of that game, let's be real. Aaliyah Boston was not great coming into the season, and Alyssa Smith was arguably their best player. Like, that's the craziness of that. And the Fever are so freaking stacked.
Because this isn't just a rebuild, but a full-on rebirth with seasoned veterans like Bonner. The Fever can mix and match lineups on the fly and keep the energy high for all 40 minutes, which could be the difference between winning it all and making the playoffs. That's the true weapon here: depth and flexibility. Most teams are locked into rigid rotations. Cunningham and Howard Carlson-Turner serve as the foundation for Clark's youthful core. If you're excited for the upcoming season, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss it. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one. Boston Mitchell and Hull, the Indiana Fever, are done playing catch-up. They're here to win. And with Caitlin Clark leading the charge, you'd better believe they're aiming straight for the top.